click. Let me see.
Now it's live. It is showing meeting is live.
Okay.
Yeah, it is showing as
Now
live.
it's showing, right? Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Anyway, we are 5 minutes early. We'll have to wait for the others to join. So only Monica is left.
Yes.
All the others have come, right?
Yes. Nirav is there, Ankit is there, Mumtaz is there.
Okay.
Hi everybody. Hi Aishwarya.
Hey. Yes, I'm audible.
Yeah, I'll just message Neerav saying, Neerav is saying, I'll just message Nilesh saying all okay.
Yeah.
So you have to remember, Paula, this is optometricouncil@gmail.com.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So Neerav and Ankit, when I ask about challenges, what do you want to talk about? Monica, you're joining? Yeah.
There's some setting problem. I'm joining.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you want to talk about, Neerav and Ankit?
Video channel.
Ankit, you want to start?
Okay, ma'am. Actually, challenge.
What would you talk about when I?
Actually, ma'am, in this actually the COVID situation.
I can't hear you.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello?
now I can hear.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, the main challenge that I have feel is because nowadays all classes are online teaching.
You're not very clear, Ankit.
Okay. Hello now? Now, ma'am?
Yeah, better.
Okay. So the main challenge is that because nowadays each and every schools are running online classes. So the time allotted for us to train them for this digital training session is very limited for us.
Limited.
Yeah. And again, to take the permission for all these things, it takes time. Like what I have seen that if it is a government school, we have to take the permission starting from the local government authorities. Like
Yeah,
from
but
district.
government schools are not open, no?
Yeah, even privates are not open for this.
No, but privates are running online classes, right?
Yeah, they are running online classes, but very few of them are running.
You have to sort your audio, Ankit.
Should I disconnect and connect again?
You want to go out and come back again?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Shall we just check the audio of everybody?
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, yours is very clear. Yes.
Mine? Am I audible?
Yeah, absolutely. Mumtaz?
Good evening, ma'am. I'm audible?
Good evening. Yeah, audible.
I think Ankit's connection is a little unstable. That is why it is wobbling. The voice is wobbling.
Okay.
Okay.
Neerav, the problem with you also was the same?
Yes, ma'am. The similar problem because the few private schools are in Navsari in this region, and in younger standards they don't allow more of online teaching. So the online teaching what they started, they also stopped in between. And in older classes again to take permissions and to get again almost they're spending so much of time on online to get this permission is again a difficulty and challenge probably.
And these are your own schools, Neerav? Hi, Monica.
Hi. Sorry.
We're just having an informal discussion.
Yeah. System started updating and 10 minutes.
Okay. No, we also had a little bit of a glitch with the Facebook Live. Then finally, now anyway we are live, but we thought we'll start at 5:30 officially. Yeah, Neerav.
Yes, so similar thing, yeah. In here, what schools which we thought about it, those schools still we need to focus it in a different way, I guess. Maybe we need to, and now the time has come of their exams, the prelim exams or in between exams. So I think, and we are now busy with our exams and other stuff. So I think we might have to look in a different approach.
Aishwarya, same with you also? Or
Yes,
you
yes,
same? Okay.
very much. So we had to do some other options also. A plan B was ready for us.
Okay. Okay. And Mumtaz?
And I to approach my own school, like alumni of my Sanders alumni from
Ah,
that school. So they have
okay.
permitted because I'm in the
Ah,
alumni.
because
They are
you're have your own connections.
yes,
Okay.
and the plus they were very happy. So their
Okay.
experience, I'll tell you, the students are like very happy and the parents. Nowadays they are not bunking the classes because of the eye strain. Initially they used to bunk, like I'm getting headache, I'm getting this, I'm getting that, but now they're comfortable. They're following
Okay.
rule or whatever. That's kind of
Okay.
experience letter I got from the school.
Okay. Paula, shall we start?
Yes, ma'am. It's time. We'll start.
Yeah. Okay. You can start, Paula.
Okay. So good evening, everybody. This is our Facebook Live session, which we do every alternate 15 days. So 2 in a month. And today's discussion is on digital eye strain. And the panelists are our partners, basically, who took part in a small campaign where they all kind of did an awareness with school children, school faculties, and parents. So we have everyone to share their experience with us. First, I will introduce Monica ma'am. She is known to everybody. She is currently the Director of Health Sciences in Ansel University. Welcome, ma'am. And then, hi, we have Mumtaz Qazi. She is currently Assistant Professor of Lotus College of Optometry in Mumbai. Welcome, Mumtaz. We have Ankit Varshni. Ankit is Assistant Professor, Sri Bharti Maya College of Optometry and Physiotherapy in Surat. Welcome, Ankit.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Then we have Neerav Mehta. He is Principal, Harijot College of Optometry, Navsari, Gujarat. Welcome, Neerav. And we have already met Aishwarya in one of our panel discussions for Experience Vision. And today we again have Aishwarya because she is an in charge of the school screening at Lakshmi Charitable Trust, and she's also a faculty at Lakshmi College. Welcome, Aishwarya.
Thank you.
So today we have Lakshmi ma'am moderating the session. So ma'am will basically ask the questions. And okay, so we are live on Facebook. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Paula. Thanks, everybody. And thanks for giving us the time to share all your experiences. I think this is something really important, concern of the day, and both for parents and for students. And not only that, even I feel for IT professionals, because everybody is now on a work from home mode. I think even all their families are very worried about digital eye strain nowadays. And it's good that people are concerned so that it becomes easier for us to kind of raise the awareness regarding this particular condition. So first to you, Monica, for the benefit of, let's say, layman and others, or even students who are listening to this, what do you think is actually digital eye strain? And what would you say is the first most important thing that one should remember in terms of digital eye strain?
I'm sorry I missed your first part, Lakshmi, if you could just repeat because
Yeah.
the sound is correct.
Yeah. I was just asking, Monica, for the benefit of common people and maybe students who are listening, I just wanted to ask you, what is digital eye strain? If you have to explain what is digital eye strain, and what's the first important message that you would like to give to everybody in terms of digital eye strain?
So I think digital eye strain is something which is now a household name, and people have been talking about these symptoms, which can be terminology here. And when we've been talking, and if you talk to anybody, because right from a nursery to a second grade to any class student to a university student, office worker, everybody is now on the digital or digitalized and working through digital things. The eyes are too much onto the near work. We are into these screens which are flashing out these lights. We are focusing throughout the day. We're not blinking often. So what it has all led to is the strain phenomena on the eye. And it's not only everybody as a public, even we ourselves have gone through those phases when our eyes are like so tired. We cannot focus then later for distance also you too much can focus. When you want to relax and look for distance, your eye is not able to focus. There is a kind of headache which is built up very bad. And then there is the symptoms of nausea also in some patients. There is dryness, there is feeling of grittiness. So these are all the few symptoms, and majorly I would say one is unable to focus the words and look for the distance. So this is digital eye strain, which is common symptoms, and sometimes headaches, pain in the eyes, you feeling tired, you feel sleepy. In fact, that's also part of it. You're Hello?
Yeah. I think you're muted in between, Monica. Now it's okay.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Continue.
Yeah.
So with all this, what do you think you know, what's one message that you would like to tell the public in terms of, how to avoid this?
Yeah. So you see, we cannot avoid digital media now. It's part of our life and it's our need nowadays. So there are many ways one can prevent these kind of strain phenomena that are developing due to these digital medias. One is that you relax your eye. We have a simple formula of 20-20-20. That means after every 20 minutes of this digital screen exposure, give 20 seconds of something which you look at 20 feet away. So look there and blink for 20 times. So far off vision after every 20 seconds and 20 minutes of work, and for 20 seconds you have to blink for 20 times. And that's how we teach ourselves, or that could be an incorporated exercise. First thing is learning to relax. And if possible, you just walk off your seat after some time of work, go around, look at far off things, learn to relax your eyes. Blink frequently is something very important, because when one is on a computer screen, your eye constantly gazes, and the regular blink phenomena, which is about 15 times average a minute, reduces much significantly, and hence the eyes get more dry. So one has to be blinking frequently, giving pause after every 20 minutes, working on it, and as far as possible use those filtered glasses, which can also help. There are special blue filter lenses and others which claim to be working well for computer users. There are special spectacle lenses also, which one should consult the optometrist, which can be given for people who are specially computer professionals. So giving break to the eye, relaxing your eye after a period of 20 minutes for a few seconds is something which is recommended to prevent this digital eye strain. And wherever we can avoid the use of these screens, which is not it's not work related, we should avoid that kind of thing. Lighting condition is also very important in terms of digital eye strain. If the light is too bright in the room where you work, again there is a glare phenomena and it causes problem. Suppose the light is too dim and your screen is too bright, it again increases the digital eye strain. So few tips of visual hygiene can actually, I wouldn't say eliminate 100%, but will reduce the incidence to a lot of extent.
Great, Monica. I think that's, in a nutshell, you've put all the points together. I know that all of you here were involved, in taking this message to school children, their parents, teachers, and all of that. So what was your experience, Monica? That is one. And I just want to reiterate what you said, like even dim light, because I think all of us kind of take our mobiles to the bed and we all see our WhatsApp messages and other things, because that's the only time that we get free, you know, before I think, and that's one of the very, very bad habits, because it also affects your sleep, is what I have read as well. So I think that's a very important message to pass, both to optometry students and even to general public, that do not look at screens before going to sleep. Yeah, Monica, your experience in imparting this knowledge to schools and teachers and parents.
Am I visible on the screen?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, something went wrong with my screen. It's fine. So our experience with the students, and we approached the students and parents in an online education training, where we had this set of slides which were contributed by OCI and even by Bausch and Lomb, those concentration. So we went into an interactive session where we have the ophthalmologist, all optometry faculty, and we briefed them about all the eye care and hygiene, even nutrition. It was an amazing session. It was such an amazing session by word of mouth. In fact, there is another school who approached us that we've got to know that this has happened in that school. So the principal comes forward to ask. The interaction was so interesting. At the end, when we opened up for the question answers, there were students as young as 10 years old, a 6th standard or a 5th standard, saying, मेरी मम्मी के भी चश्मा लगा है and वो पहनती नहीं है, क्या इसलिए सिर दर्द हो रहा है? My grandmother has मोतियाबिंद or cataract, and there was a live interaction and kids understanding the things. मैं banana खाता हूँ, is banana good for my eye? I mean, these were so interesting. The message went through all these school children, and then they went to educate their parents and even to your grandparents, because he came back to ask the questions for the grandparent or for the mother. And so I think it was a wonderful experience, and the message went very clear. To an extent, it excited all of us. The feedback was so good, and we look forward to, in fact, building up eye awareness. And this model, if we say as a pilot, will be an excellent way if we can train the young ones. I think the whole family is getting educated. It's not just the student.
Absolutely. This. Yeah. Yeah. I think young minds are like a sponge. They kind of absorb whatever you give them, right? So this you conducted during an assembly session, or how did you organize the session?
We actually coordinated a weekend time, which was the non-school hours, and we did it on a Saturday. However, we are open on Saturdays and Sundays, because that was the time we thought that schools are not having those regular classrooms, and even the parents and the mothers are attending along with it. And the one where we went into that weekend mode was the most successful one. So it was not in the assembly, but even, of course, teachers attended, and there was a big participation through it. But the outcomes were better if I would say it was weekend, where even the family parents were being educated and this child went into interaction with them. And to an extent, there were a lot of queries later that my son has this problem. Should I approach the ophthalmologist? Should I approach this? I want to go in for contact lenses. Whom should I meet? So there were advanced queries and questions which came back to us because we had opened up our number. So weekend and involving some parents and family along with the teachers was the most successful model that I felt.
Thanks, Monica. Now moving on to some of the young educators, Aishwarya and Mumtaz. Mumtaz, do you want to share your experience, Mumtaz? Like you said, you approached your own school as an alumni.
Yes, ma'am. So good evening all. So basically, I was trying to approach many schools, but we came to know the government school are not working. Like in Mumbai, so online classes are not there for government school. Private school are taking, but in a day, student has to attend minimum 4 to 5 hours after a break of just 5 minutes in between each lecture. So it was quite difficult to get their permission, but I got it from my school only. But the best part of this,
Mumtaz, sorry, can you hold your earphone? Otherwise, there's a lot of disturbance. Yeah.
so the basic thing what I was trying to tell you, okay, due to this session, the student got many much benefit. Okay, because I got a personal response from the principal, from the teachers, and from the parents, and especially because I did a YouTube live session, because my school was having almost more than 2,000, 3,000 kids. Okay, so it was quite difficult to conduct only a Zoom lecture. So if I took a Zoom lecture, then I would have to take a different session for each class. So the principal advised, Mumtaz, do something called as live session, either Facebook Live or either YouTube Live. So we go ahead with the YouTube Live. And if you can see what happened on the day of the session, only 100, 200 heads attended. But as soon as I completed and I told them, do spread this message to your classmates, to your teachers, to your parents, and to your society people. And those kids were so punctual, they have gone and sent them literally, and the views are increasing day by day. Now it is more than 1,500 to 2,000 views on the YouTube.
Wonderful. Okay.
Okay, and as Monica ma'am correctly said, the young mind. So because I took the class for the first to fifth and then 6th to 10th, there were 2 sessions. But the more interactive session was with the help with the younger minds, like between the session of 1st to 7th or 1st to 5th, because they were taking more interest. Okay, ma'am, I eat a carrot. Whether it will benefit it? I have so much of spectacle. Can I get your number? Can we visit your hospital? So they were very cool. At the same time, teachers were saying, okay, before your session, they used to give us an excuse. Okay, ma'am, after 2 hours lecture, we can't attend the lecture more because we get headache, we get eye strain, like fatigue, heaviness. At the end of the day, our eyes look swollen and everything. So after my lecture, they are saying, the teachers and the principal, okay, no, now they are taking break in between, and we have scheduled a lecture in such a way that at least after every lecture, they get at least minimum 15 to 20 minutes break, so that they can relax. Okay, and we are trying to give them more amount of outdoor activities or less amount of digitalization work, and parents are making sure that they are not playing games on the mobile too much, or they are trying to do something in the homework in the book. They are earlier what they used to do, they used to do homework also in the mobile, like they used to make notes, presentation, and everything. But now, because of this session, they are trying to do what they do now. They do the work in the notebook, and then they click the snapshot and then send it to the teacher in a Google Drive. So this kind of experience they have shared with me.
Thank you, Mumtaz. You, Aishwarya?
Evening. I think I'm audible. Yeah.
Yes, Aishwarya. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So for us, it was mostly like how Mumtaz said. Yeah, it was very innovative session actually, so that we really wanted to reach a lot of kids, lot of parents. Why did we come across this idea was mainly because I personally got some phone calls from some parents, our friends, relatives, friends circle, everybody complaining that our kid is sitting from morning 9 till 4 or 5 with the sessions or the classes happening periodical. After that, they have their tuition class going on, because of which we can see the eyes are getting red, unnecessary watering. Every time the kid is complaining, headache. And we also started observing this in our pediatric OPD also, that a lot of kids came up with these kind of complaints happening every now and then. And the parents, actually it was a consideration by the parents that maybe this is not something that is really happening. Either the kids are giving some sort of excuses just to skip the online classes. So there we literally had some parents telling us कि headache थोड़ी हो सकता है, बच्चों को कहाँ सर में दर्द होता है. So it was such kind of a consideration taken कि kids cannot have a headache. So here we understood कि yeah, there is a need of conducting something like this, and so that we can actually reach to many. When approaching the schools, it was really little tough because there were a lot of programs happening. Many schools denied us because of the fact that they said ki it is only eye care that you are doing. We have got a lot of parents coming on. Somebody is talking on physiotherapy, somebody is talking on psychology, lot of topics. So we cannot bombard so many things on the kids all at a time. So still we could reach one school which is, if not in Mumbai, but in Maharashtra itself. It was from some contacts we could reach, and they were really very happy. They were very happy having us and keeping a session. and they only programmed it, and we made sure that along with kids, this was made compulsory for the parents, because even if the kids are very small, if they cannot understand the primary school kids, their parents can. And it was mostly private school, so resources was not a problem, as in it was managed by the school itself, the Zoom ID, everything was created. So reaching the parents was very helpful, because yes, there were a lot of confusions that happened with the parents. Like first thing was this headache that I said. Headache is something they couldn't make out. Yes, exactly, the kid can complain. So out of all those informative posters that we had shared, people were really very interested in seeing that the main digital ice train that we had designed. So that was given to us, and that was very, very informative, and it was an eye-catchy thing. So the sitting posture could actually attract them a lot, where after that I could hear kids saying, I could have my own cousin, my sister, who is just in 4th or 5th standard, who she herself said, okay, now I will keep my laptop in this manner, I'll keep my position, I'll be sitting in this particular position. So this is what a behavioral change, even if the parents would have not put it on their kids, the kid took it themselves. The kids were really happy. So this was very remarkable for the kids, and reading very close. Though there are a lot of kids, the parents really complain many things other than digital eye strain. There were lot of other things that came across, but there was this as a major complaint, that they really go very close to the book, or they keep their book very close, or they lie down and study. So this was also a question or a query that had come from the parent side. And along with that, the classroom behavior that we had covered, the irresponsive behavior or very hyperactive behavior of the kid, or low performance in the class. This was something really interesting, and we could actually find a lot of parents were anyways surprised with the thing, but yes, a lot of teachers were also, it was something very new for them also. Okay, this was something very informative. Okay, this particular kid is not performing, then this can be due to some kind of ocular issues they are facing. So, but reaching to the schools was difficult. So like how Mumtaz had done, we also planned we wanted to go make it a mass thing, so that even I can concentrate, I can also reach out to a lot of people, like basic people, whoever is sitting in their native places, everybody. So we planned it like a Facebook live session. So we collaborated with Rotary Club of Navi Mumbai Jewels. So they were very helpful in arranging this activity. So here, this was an open platform, how they did it on YouTube, in the same manner when we did initially.
So you did Facebook Live instead of
I did
YouTube.
Facebook Live.
Okay.
Yes, I did Facebook Live
in
with
that
Navi
case,
Mumbai Jewels.
Yeah, I just want to say that both for Mumtaz and Aishwarya, since you guys have done on YouTube and Facebook Live, it's always available. So you can actually replicate the same thing to other schools and things like that, right? That is
Yes.
what you intend to do?
Yes. And it was a QA session actually, along with the presentation. It was mostly kept as a QA session. So I myself became a voice of the public, like taking all the questions of the public that we were facing in the OPD and through the previous school awareness programs. So we brought those questions, and I had our pediatric ophthalmologist sitting with us. So she
answered the questions.
Yeah,
okay.
So she answered. So we had a lot of questions and varieties of ocular conditions, and people were really surprised to know something like pediatric cataract, whether seriously something like this happens. Our glaucoma poster, our crossed eye posters, those things were really very helpful to them. So this was very effective, and till now we have got a lot of questions, and still we are answering them on the comment sections. So this was really a great experience.
So I think the common thing between all Monica, Mumtaz, and Aishwarya is it's not just digital eye strain alone, that they have so many other eye-related queries that keep coming. And I think that is great, that we are not just targeting only digital eye strain. That is a way of entering into the school. And then after that, you answer so many other public questions that come to their mind. I know this is not all a bed of roses as well. So coming to the challenges that one faces, Neerav, do you want to talk about some of the challenges that you face? Then after that, we'll go to Ankit.
Yes, so first of all, I thank OCI for innovating this program on digitalized training for schools. So first challenges, we tried.
I just want to mention that Aishwarya mentioned about the poster that was actually developed by a person called Riya Sarkar. So I think we should thank her because she was really, really innovative in the way she created the poster, that all information came into one poster. There were not multiple posters, just one poster had so much of information. I think even if we can share that poster with the schools, you know, if for some schools, if they say they don't have time for all of this, if we can even just share the poster so that teachers can read and pass on that information also, that will be very helpful. Yeah, sorry, carry on, Neerav.
Yes, so I thank OCI for making this program on digital eye strain for schools. So we actually tried for schools, but it didn't work for us. But we did it for our school, that is a optometry college students, where we tried and initiate for them. But for schools, we didn't able to do it. The challenges for them, for us, we are getting us, which is on planning and preparation related to them, how they are working with the online classes is. So I think some tips we have got it. Maybe we can try and implement on Saturdays with what Monica ma'am have done it. And we have been doing in a different, we are all using the same thing, but we have made one more point with our students, and we are planning to use it in as Aishwarya mentioned about Rotary Club, where we are doing that with Rotary clubs, where mainly for less than 30 years. So we had done one piloting with our students, where we are not only working with the digital eye strain related, but we also think on digital device dependency, where how to decrease the dependency of digital devices. So we have given some tools to work on them, how they can decrease, because most of the people, they use digital devices on laptop, computer, and after that again they use the smartphones. So how the smartphone can decrease, that we are also working with it. And we are planning that if we do it, we are trying to go with the exercise, the eye extraocular motility exercise, like moving right and left and up down, and rotating the eye and blinking it. So if we go with this live, that is helping our students. So this was just a pilot which we did with our students, but it is helping them a very good way. And most of them, they are practicing every day to relax their eyes, and along with that some of the tips like 20-20-20 and relaxing the eyes and using it. So main focus, we are looking at how we can approach the schools in terms of, now the schools are having it, their exams and other stuff which is coming up. So, and in our place there are very few private schools are available, which is again a challenge to develop a system with them. But hope we can make a channelized thing, and we can discuss with parents as well as children.
Yeah. And how about you, Ankit? What do you feel that some of the challenges that you're facing?
Am I audible, ma'am? Am I clear?
Yeah, you're audible. You're audible. Yes, Ankit.
So first of all, I would like to thank OCI. I would like to acknowledge OCI because this is a very good campaign, and I believe that the impact of school eye health is not only a good vision; it is beyond that, and it encompasses education, a social development, economic productivity for vision, and it's play a very important role in learning and development of a child. And this is an actual good thing. Like when we talk to the parents, when we talk to the teachers, when we talk to the principal, that we are going to talk about digitalized train, they will not consider it because they don't know this NTIT. So we have to explain them that we will also discuss many things. And as Monica ma'am said, that we have to also explain many things. And I think that if we talk to digital eye strain, we also explain them that myopia management will also work when we talk of digital eye strain to some extent.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
And
absolutely.
This is actually a hot topic of nowadays, because myopia management we always treat with some optical devices, but by giving these instructions, to some extent we can also treat the myopia, or we can decrease the progression of myopia. So it is not too much, but yes, we can do that. So
Very important. Yeah.
yeah, very important. So I think this thing we have to keep in mind, and we have to impart it to the teachers, parents, and principals. I just want to share my experience, one experience. A few days back, one teacher came to my clinic, and she was a parent also. So when I explained her that we will going to take a session on certain schools, and will you give us the permission, or will you help us to talk to the principal for that? So she was telling me that I am taking 2 to 3 hours of lecture per day, and my kids are also in lecture, so I have to sit there also and here also. So I am almost 5 to 6 hours I am been in digital gadgets. So she was initially confused and she denied for that. But when I talked that it is an important thing, that because now all are addicted to digital devices and gaming also, because in lockdown nobody is interested in learning and education. The kids are also using PUBG and other gaming mode. So this is an important point. Even her kid was also myopic. I also told that by explaining or by doing certain things, maybe the myopia get uh, the progression get delayed. So she was convinced, and she talked to his principal, and then I got permission for one school. So it is actually a difficult thing that I can think. And another thing is, as you all know, that schools are actually physically closed. So it is just a virtual school right now. So even we cannot go to the schools, and we cannot meet the teachers and principals, and we cannot take the permission. So it is an indirect approach that we can do, and like this way we can, maybe we can approach the teachers, their parents, and they take the permission for that particular school. Again, though in private we need not have to take the permissions from government bodies, but yes, principal, that trustees, they have to be convinced for this. Otherwise they will not give us the permission, because the, as Nirav sir told, that they are having their own classes, they are having their own exams. Even we are also facing the same thing. We are also having the online sessions, and we are also going with the external exams, so we don't have even time. And when we got the time, they don't have that time. So we have to manage both time accordingly. So Saturdays can be taken, so because it's a challenge for us also. So Saturdays or Sundays we can take. So we are actually planning, we are on the ground level, so we are planning all these things, and definitely we will reach more and more school within this 1 or 2 months, and we are going to impart this campaign to a large extent.
I'm sure you and Neera would have got some, kind of cues from the discussion that Mumtaz, Monica, and Aishwarya have also given.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like the idea of YouTube and Facebook, because then it is permanently there, and you can actually keep on replicating it for other schools as well. Or you can use that as a sample when you approach other schools and say, see what we've done. We want to do something similar for your school. Would you be interested, and things like that? I think one of the major issues also that I heard is the schools are also having problems, solving problems with regards to fee payment, in the sense, a non-payment of fees and all of that. So I think that with that, and then added other strenuous things, that is, I think, one of the major reasons why they, don't want time to be disturbed with all the other extra activities that they want to do.
Yeah. So I'll add to
Monica.
the statement. It's just the continuation of your statement, Lakshmi. It was basically, there are many universities who go for marketing activity to these schools. So when they go in, so as a university head, if I say I want to do a session, the first reaction is so sorry, because they feel that they are here to get into their admissions and market their university, and that kind of feeling. So a personal relationship had to be done, and we very boldly then wrote in a mail to say, please, this is not going to be a marketing, but it's only the concern of the high health. And post that session in that same school, they then came up to ask us on other health issues. They even came to ask us if you have a psychology department to help us with mental health. You can help adolescent girls with some kind of issues, So I think it's a first kind of reaction where they feel they are used to these kind of marketing activities only. But so that's the struggle and the challenge where we have to beat it off. If we start promoting, and then, as I said, even all of us, let's not look at the weekdays in asking them any timetable free or schedule. From us also, if we were to do it on a weekend from home, our speakers could very well be sitting at home, and we contributed about an hour of it. But at the end, the joy was extreme. The joy was extreme because the take-home message, what we wanted to, and we promoted our profession also. There was one of the questions which was like,
yeah,
आप surgery hai, who's an ophthalmologist, who's this, so आप surgery करते हैं, आप checkup कैसे करते हैं? And I'll tell you one more advantage. Each in the chat box, there were continuous messages where they wanted to know, suppose we have to get an eye check, where should we go? So indirectly, we marketed a lot of practitioners there itself in promoting them and talking to them. So there were secondary benefits also which came up to the, I would say, to the profession. So I think it's a good beginning. That initiative was immensely fruitful, I would say.
This is great idea, actually, Monica. I think other universities, if they are listening, no, so I think you can use this to market, indirect marketing of the profession, and also of your own college, in the sense, saying that we are running this course indirectly. And I think it is a great awareness initiative. So it is a win-win on all the sides. You're educating them on eye care, you're making them aware of optometry as a profession. And at the end of the day, if they come back to you, then they know what university you are from and what courses you run and stuff like that. So I think it will be great to add as part of our optometry counseling session.
Yeah, and in a very subtle way. It was so subtle that
yes, absolutely, yes,
marketing, and we indirectly had promoted what and the message was very good. In fact, interestingly, there's another school who had approached us also, and now they say, I actually wanted for my primary school. So I said, second, third, fourth, and she says that the presentation has to be toned down, but she says it is more of the concern of those kind of children who don't listen to us, ki phone mat dekho, khelo mat. So this is the kind of level of students, and I think it'll be fun. We have a booking next for 29th of the weekend, and I think it should be fun doing all that.
Wonderful. Okay. Yeah, I think, yeah. And it's also, as Ankit said, that is a great age to actually, put in tools to control any myopia progression because of increased close work. So primary school would be a great target to also say, don't do this, chashma aa jayega, ya power increase ho jayega. Even if you can get that information to the parents, that will be great. I think that will be wonderful. And among our own fraternity, I'm sure all of us keep talking that once all this settles down, I don't know how much of increase in myopia we are all going to see. As it is, it's predicted by 2050 half the world's population, and this entire pandemic, I think it's just going to accelerate the incidence to a large extent, which I think none of us can even predict as of now. What's the influence of all this on the eye? So that's really great, Monica. I think that package is really great, what you said.
And I think others have shared excellently, Aishwarya and everybody putting in. So you see, we had a lot of questions from the middle school children, which were those 6th, 7th, 8th, on contact lenses. The benefit of lenses, should I use it? All those myths and frequently asked, the kids were forward coming, and that means, look at the generation we were talking about contact lenses who would make that impression. So I think it was excellent in that terms also. And these questions, we never spoke about contact lens in our presentation, but these questions came automatically from that teenager who's looking forward to those kind of things.
Yeah, Nirav, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I think we can add one more point with our discussion in it, where we can tell them to have a daily, like we have a health detox diet kind of thing. A digital detox is now coming up. So in a phone, there are some very small thing which comes up to screen usage time, a daily screen usage time of around. So if that can be decreased down, if they come up that, okay, we need to come down to around, may not be like 2 hours, 4 hours to 2 hours, but at least they come up by around half an hour daily, then that could again help them to reach. So every week, again, it gives us data of how much they have used the smartphone. And again, in that you can also see which application they have been using it for a longer period of time. So some of these points can be shared with the children and maybe a parents, and that can be known how they are being dependent, or whether they can decrease this or not. So we cannot eliminate, but at least somewhere we can decrease it by using some simple tools.
I think it's very important, like in terms of mobile usage, I think it's more in terms of elderly, right? For kids, it's more of laptop use, at least as of now, what I can, from whatever conversations we've had. So I think this point adding on, it will help the parents and even like adolescent kids who keep playing on the mobile, like Ankit said, using different gaming and other things. So that's a very important point that you brought about in terms of, unnecessary usage of increase unnecessary usage of gadgets. And I mean, this topic is kind of, surpasses all age boundaries. That is the most interesting part that I found in this. It just surpasses all age boundaries because it's applicable to children, even college going, people, and even the people who are in the work front at present, because with all the IT shifting to work from home, it's applicable to them also. And now the complaint that I hear from most of them is that they're working more than what they used to do, because they are working from home and the travel time also is not there. So it's so much of screen time that's increased compared to pre-COVID times. The other thing I was also thinking of, if we have to scale this up, if we have to scale this project up to more participants and more schools and the information going on to more. I think one idea that Aishwarya and Mumtaz gave is through YouTube and Facebook is one of the things. Paula was also thinking, why not just, involve IT companies in these kind of awareness initiatives and things. So what do you think about that? Monica, first I'll go with you, then I'll ask the others about it.
I think there is a database of schools and there are certain websites. We can actually even look at talking about it. Are you worried about your eyes? Do you want to know more? Contact us or something. There can be an SMS blast which keeps coming as a promotional activity. And I think there is definitely going to be a revert on it. And we may have some people coming into it. We can even look at AdWords and put in some kind of information about eye awareness. YouTube, Facebook has already been said. So I think we've piloted, we have experimented, and it is very easy for us now to replicate. It is approaching mass approach, blasting SMSs, websites, and other digital medias where we can talk about it and let these people come on their own to us rather than we running around. And I'm sure it has happened in my case. So it has happened, okay. And let's talk about it in doing it. We can even put posters. In fact, one of the eye hospitals that was nearby, I on behalf of that, our interns go there. And I said, would you mind if we put in a poster to say that if you're interested to know more, you can approach us. Open also for schools on masks or even RWAs. He only encouraged, he said, you can even go to resident welfare associations. So why not increase everywhere around it? Corporates can be approached. So let's start promoting and talking as much as we can through the digital medias, of course, which is the easiest way to spend through.
Yeah. Digital media has now become the new advertising, mantra, because private visits and visiting somebody and explaining is all gone. So now digital media has become definitely the mantra in terms of marketing. Ankit, what do you feel in terms of, approaching, let's say, the HR of corporates and, explaining that you'll take a session regarding this and things like that? How do you think that might help?
Like for HRs and for IT companies, ma'am?
Yes.
I think we can try that, but I'm not sure whether it will work or not. Because nowadays people are more towards digital gadgets, and I don't know whether it will work or not. But if you ask me, we can try at least for 1 or 2 times, and if not, because it is all about interest. If they are, as Monica ma'am said, that if they are interested, then only our plan will work. Otherwise, it will not work. So
in fact,
I
tried it.
In
Okay.
fact, Ankit, I'll tell you, we've tried with the HR office also.
Okay.
In fact, it was through one of the patient, we got the HR contact and we put in. Again, everywhere the challenge is they don't want their working hours to be disturbed.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I would appreciate Johnson & Johnson had really done it for their employees. I was part of their panelist. It was amazing. They did it for all their employees together across the country. And it was the initiative, of course. We have our good friend and professional Amod in it who had taken the lead to take it forward. But I spoke to HR, one of them. The thing is that we'll have to contribute our weekends on it. They don't
Yes.
want the working
Yes.
hours to be disturbed in it.
Yeah.
And
Actually, sorry. Actually, I'm very happy because with this campaign, we are not only targeting the childrens. Indirectly, we are also targeting the parents because they are also sitting in that, and we are also
Absolutely. Yes.
targeting the teachers because they are also been
Correct.
getting the instructions for their kids. So we are actually targeting a many large population with this campaign. So I'm actually happy for this. But ma'am, I'm not sure, but we will definitely try with the HRs also this time.
Okay. I just wanted to know what your views were. Yeah, Aishwarya, you want to say something?
yeah, actually regarding this, we are currently running something like this, a computer vision syndrome campaign or a digital eye strain campaign, which is currently going on by, again, one more employee of ours. So we are actually doing this. So it is currently what the two things that we face majorly is, first thing is the IT companies. They have one thing that they the denial factor for them is just because if we are shifting it to a Saturday or a Sunday, so they all of them are like for entire week we are sitting 13-14 hours in front of a PC, so we cannot spare a Saturday and a Sunday in front of a system for something like this. So one is that, and when they hear something called as digital eye strain, so it is something ki you are already talking about digital eye strain. This is something digital, and you want to do it on a digital platform. So that is also a major thing that is faced. Ki, why can this be done on a digital platform? So what we have thought in one way ki, even if this program is going on simultaneously, okay, let's approach the IT companies or some certain IT professionals. But along with that, if we first initially target the health-based companies, like how ma'am said, Johnson & Johnson's company, or any pharmaceutical company, or any medical equipments and instrumentation company, because they are as in a health background companies. So still we assume and we expect we get some support, and we have got some responses also that at least those health-based companies are entertaining such kind of things, and they will be really helpful. They are going to do it for their employees, because IT professionals complete a pure hardcore IT professionals. They are like, okay, just don't talk about laptops or system on a Saturday or a Sunday. And it is very difficult to get through them.
So, ma'am, what we are actually planning it, we are IT in our zone is very less. So, what we are doing it, we have been now our Rotary Club of Harijot, who is a member, where they are been planning a big project on Apto awareness project, which is on digital, this which using this OCI presentation and other things. So we are doing, we have already been proposal has been sent, and it is going to be on a district level where almost like around 800 we have been planning to have training Rotary Club members.
Wow.
And that we are going to, and it is in 7 zones. So we are been looking that forward if proposal is been accepted from that. And our aim is like from there they will approach to the schools, and our team will train to the schools, because every club have to do some project and other things. So it's better, and this is like a long project, not for 1 year. It can be last for a many times. So we will help them to understand what digital, and they can select the project like this, and our members would help them how to go with digital in their schools, because we can't reach into the Gujarat other places. So we are looking that if this work very well, I think it would be a good way where we can spread the awareness on digital.
Oh, that's great. Very great initiative, Nirav. If you're doing it on a district level, that will be really great. It'll, I think, span out into so many in terms of population. That it will be, it will have a multiple ripple effect. So that is something really good. I just want to ask a general question. This is an idea which we've been thinking of. Let's say we make a small video or a poster targeting different aspects of eye strain and myopia. Let's say 5 to 6 videos of maybe just 40 seconds, 45 seconds, or something like that. It can be animated, it can be a voiceover video or things like that. And if you ask young minds to kind of share it, what kind of ripple effect that is going to have in the digital media, like, people can share it via Facebook, via YouTube or Insta, whatever, very small kind of videos if we do. That I think also will reach the parents and others as well. That coupled with this school project, I think is going to be good. So I just want your feedback on that. Mumtaz, we'll start with you. You've been quiet for too long. Then after that, I'll ask the others.
No, because I was trying to tell one more point during the IT lecture, to approach them. So what is happening is my practical experience. Okay, my brother is in IT. Okay, he's a manager. So what is happening, because the time travel is less, there is no traveling time or nothing. So their working has increased quite a bit. Like they used to work only 8 to 10 hours. Now they are working more than 14, 15 hours. And apart from that also, their call is there and everything is there. And on Saturday and Sunday, whenever they are having off, so they are spending a lot of time on the mobile only. They have some kind of email work, or they are reading books on Kindle. There is another thing which is come up right now. They are reading books on Kindle. So this is also playing a very difficult role. Okay, so we can try for the IT person, but it will be quite difficult, but we can try. And the next thing, what you have asked for regarding the video, the same kind of initiative we have started with our school, our college also, Lotus. Okay, we have given the student as an assignment to make such kind of videos like animated one, and so that we can produce, we can select which is the best one, and then we can put it on a Facebook page and a YouTube page, or
Wonderful.
then we can give it to teachers, we can give it to health professional or anything, so that they can just run in their clinics. They can just like a normal physician,
exactly.
Because nowadays the physicians are having too much of crowd and everything. So we can just tell them just to display on their by the time people are waiting in their waiting room, so they can just go ahead and see them. And then at the end, we can just say that, okay, for more updates, you can just go ahead and approach
Contact
this person.
somebody. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And at the end, what we are planning to do, we are planning to do a survey kind of thing, so that if you have seen and if you have any doubt of whether it is useful or not, just a small 5-6 questions or survey, then they will get more helpful, and we get to know, okay, what is going on.
Correct. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of, Mumtaz. And that I think, even in terms of having these videos and all of that, when you see, even in schools, there is like a 2 or 3 minute, at least a 5-minute gap between one class and the other. So even if we give it to schools saying that we're not interfering with your, timetable, you can just run this, when you're shifting from one class to the other, so that it is a bit of information that the kids also and the parents also can see and things like that. So I just wanted to know the feedback with regards to that. Monica, what do you think of, such kind of small, very, very, very small ones? Because if it's too long, then nobody will see. So it has to catch the attention within like 40 to 50 seconds. Monica, you're there?
Yes, hello, sorry, it was me.
Yeah.
So I think it's an excellent idea, and I fully endorse it. And we will be there to help promote, and I think it can spread it. It's the need of the hour. We have to do it. Creating this would be an excellent idea.
Yeah. Any other comments regarding the same in terms of, how can we spread such kind of small messages that we have, and that will be, as Mumtaz said, it will help even if you have like few questions in the end, if you have any complaints, or did you know about this before or something like that, so that they can kind of maybe say, okay, and if you say, if it is yes, then please contact so and so or something like that. So that will help even practitioners, in fact. Yeah, Monica.
So we can involve some practices, we can involve hospitals, and we can have a series of contact your local practitioners, and we can give them contacts. And I think it works better with that way. talking about it.
Yeah. Paula, any other? Yeah, Ankit, go on.
I think this is a very good idea, because what I have seen is the kids, they are always preferring the cartoon sort of videos, and it is always eye catching, rather than when we give the presentations and when we teach them, they are not more attentive for that. Again, just an thought that when they are in the morning, they have one session, another session, another session. At the end of the day, when they have 4 or 5 sessions a day, they forget every session. They don't remember anything. So if we have a very small videos of 40-50 seconds, and if they see it in a regular interval, or if we share the link, so they can see it again and again if they want to see. So I think this is a good idea.
Correct. Yeah. Paula, you have any comments or questions?
Ma'am, we have got one question. It is to the panel. There's no particular person there, I am shooting this question to. So it's saying that how can we teach and guide our 21st century kids to avoid using digital devices?
This is a big question. We can't teach them in the sense we can tell them the harmful effects, basically. I think best is to tell them about the harmful effects of using long-term digital device. See, this is something, as Monica said, you cannot avoid. You just can't avoid in today's time and world the use of digital devices. The only thing we can say is how do we, prioritize using of the digital devices and not overuse them for unnecessary things, and tell them the harmful effects of what it is. And as Monica said, explain the 20-20-20 rule, or like Neera was saying, eye exercises that you keep doing. And, these, I think the question has been answered during the session. Monica, you want to add something on that?
It's rightly said, we cannot avoid. It is part of it. It is integrated. And in any case, we will have to, the world is changing and this has to be part of it. We cannot change all this, what we are looking into. So it's, of course, there'll be evolving methods. Technologies are also giving us in the spectacle wear and other things. You see, the need itself will build with time, all these things. And there is no stopping of it. It is a concept which parents have thought, and whenever there is a transition from generation this to that, there is a thought, but at the same time, I'm sure many new innovations will come to give the protections to the eyes wherever, which of course is the role of an optometrist to promote them. And we need to be rather aware. We have to educate ourselves to understand what is the updated information on protection of eyes and pass it on.
Paula, just to put in a summary, I think one, we can say that to reduce the time and to prioritize what is most important, we can say that as number one. Number two, using of the 20-20-20 rule. Number three is exercises. And I would also add number four, the most important one, to explain about how myopia progression happens with increased use of, near work, be it books, be it digital devices, any closed work, prolonged closed work over a long period of time definitely contribute towards, myopia progression. And to negate that, one has to play outdoors. So as long as all these are explained, I think we are making ourselves very clear as far as an optometrist is concerned. And of course, some innovation or the other keeps coming. We do have some protective glasses as of now that is available in terms of digital use, blue light protection and things like that. So those are things that we can advise in terms of the public.
Right.
Yeah, Paula.
Aishwarya, you wanted to say something.
Yes, with this actually, when we were conducting this Facebook session, so I came across something where the DG, the main, whoever the guest was in the session, the DG was had actually put up this idea from his side that if the parents are asking us how to minimize the time of digital screen usage and everything, first of all, what he sees with his experience is that the parents themselves are into too much loaded into these. So we see he himself said ki first the mothers or the parents have to be explained in a very layman's manner ki okay fine, if your kid is not eating anything, if the kid is not studying, or if your kid is really not eating or not interested in eating, especially uske hath mein give a phone, show a game, show some music or anything, and your kid, and we see yes it works. So it is very easier and convenient for the parents to do. Or if we see the parents, we have come across some other parents who are into ki yes they have taken a lot of they are into this online classes for last 4-5 hours. So for a break what they do is they play games with the phone. So again coming out from a screen to a screen. So these are certain things which the parents, that's why it has to be more focused, and the information has to go more to the parents also. Ki just for our own convenience, we cannot simply provide all these digital materials or our smartphones specially to them, because food and smartphones are enemies, we would say, like way apart.
So,
Yeah,
ma'am,
I
actually,
think that's a very good point. Yeah, Ankit, tell me.
so ma'am, actually, I have said initially that this campaign will definitely going to help children's, their parents, as well as the teachers, because all will involve in this campaign and all will get the benefit. So,
No, I
Whole
got a
society.
comment actually from one of patients who came. So they said that, the kid kind of, when I was educating in terms of, no close work and all of that, the kid turns to the mother and actually in front of me itself said that, I think you should listen more to this than me. So, as Monica said, if you can get the message across to the children, then I'm sure it's going to make an effect on the parents. I mean, they are going to teach the parents not to use less screen time, because right in front of me, the kid was telling the mother, I think what the person is saying, what she's saying is more applicable to you than me. So are you also listening to this? It was quite embarrassing for me, and I had to kind of, diffuse the situation in a way. But of course, the parent also knew came to know what's the, importance of not viewing the screen for long hours and things like that. So I think that is something which is very, very important message that should go out. And the parent also said that, her colleagues and other people, if you tell the kid, like what Aishwarya is telling, if the parent tells don't use mobile or something, I believe they turn back and say that when you can use it, why can't I use it for so long? So you have to lead by example. The parents have to lead by example. That is, I think, the message. So, the most important reply, Paula, to what you had asked, I think as parents, if everybody leads by example, the kids will follow.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, with this discussion, I just remembered one very funny incident which happened in our apartment. It's like, wearing masks. So we had a stall in the apartment, and then everybody was in line for getting the groceries. And I was wearing mask, and then the woman behind me was not wearing a mask, and the kid was like, मम्मी वो आंटी पहन रही है, आपने क्यों नहीं मास्क पहना, आपको भी पहनना चाहिए मास्क. So it was like the kid insisting the mother that why are you not, wearing the mask. So it's absolutely correctly said, Aishwarya. If you can really influence the children, they can actually go back and tell their parents.
So thanks everybody. I think it's been a great session, great learning, I think, for me as to, what are the different ways that we can approach this issue, and how to approach the general public. There's so many ways that have, each one has come up with. So I'm sure we can come up with some kind of a program where this can reach out to many, many more people than, just limiting it to only schools and teachers and parents. We have to go to the common public as much as possible. If we can get this information across, that will really, really help for the benefit, I think, of everybody. As I said, we really don't know what the effect of this is going to be post COVID, if and when it happens, and how much of myopia we are going to see, and how much of binocular vision problems we are going to see because of all this increased near and gadget usage. So thanks to everybody on a Saturday evening. All of you have given your time. So thanks, and to be part of this discussion. This anyway will be on Facebook So you can always share this link with your other educators, co-educators or students or whomever you want to share this with. So please do go ahead and do that, so that let them also participate. It becomes kind of a motivation for other optometrists also to participate in such initiatives, and let's spread the message of eye care, basically.
Sure, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Initiative.
Bye.
Thank you.